Hey everyone, Jen here. And I just wanted to share a thought that I shared in an email recently and in a blog post. And it's something that has been something I've been learning a lot recently, and it's about our mindset. So if you've ever bought a car, maybe like a yellow car or a white, certain type of brand of car, and then you find that soon after that, you start to see that type of car everywhere. It's like some kind of weird magic that you're noticing this car everywhere all the time. Like a month ago, you wouldn't have even noticed that type of car. But now, because you've bought it or you're in the process of buying it, it's like you notice it everywhere. And what this is really teaching me is this trick of psychology that what we prioritize and what we make important is what we notice. And actually, our noticing is less about what's in the world and it's more about what's inside of our mind. And what I'm learning about the mind is there's no possible way that our brain can process all the information in the world. Like you think of all the visual images we receive every day, all the sounds, all the smells, all the sensations. Like our brain is an organizing machine and has to prioritize and organize the things that we're seeing in the world. And so that organizing is actually determined by what we've prioritized or what we've previously experienced or seen. So the key here is that what we pay attention to is how we create a pattern that determines what we see and notice in the world. And this is particularly important for me because I have been in the past very reactive to criticism, very reactive to rejection, kind of disrespect and things, and really kind of pay attention and notice that kind of thing over other things, even excluding and ignoring compliments, people's approval, people's affirmation, and things like that. Something that I've learned about myself is that a disproportionate reaction to rejection or criticism is something that it's less about the situation and what I'm actually seeing or feeling in the moment. And it's more about something that's happened to me in my past. And it's something that's kind of sitting there in my mind. So whether I'm recalling a memory like from my childhood or from a bad experience that happened to me at school or with early experiences with peers and friends, or whether it's related to a way that I'm internally chastising or criticizing myself inside my mind, when I experience that in the world, I'm organizing and focusing and paying attention to that with disproportionate attention than I am looking at other things which are way more positive and encouraging. The brilliantness of this understanding is that it's that our feelings and our observations in the world can therefore be organized, and we can start to predetermine and set the pattern of our mind of what we're going to notice, what we're going to react to, and even how we're going to feel about that by setting the preconditions in our mind. We can actually start to play with that and set up the pattern and then determine how we're going to react and reflect the world. So there are a few ways that I'm learning to deal with this, and I'm going to share them with you, like particularly 3 steps that I found which helped me change my mindset. So the first way is to be able to listen to and understand my own interior critical voice. And I've actually written on my wall various words that I would need a coach or a mentor to be saying to me so that I can catch myself when I start to criticize myself. So for example, I've written words like constructive, kind, empathetic, realistic, truthful. And every time I start to be critical of myself, I look at what my ideal coach will say to me, and my ideal coach will be telling me something constructive, kind, truthful, realistic. And I can check against everything I'm saying to myself in my mind about my failure or perceived failure and say, what's something constructive about this? How can I learn from this situation? Is this truthful? Is this realistic? Am I being kind to myself in this situation? And that helps me to check my inner mind and actually convert some of my processing and experiences of negative experiences and negative kind of outcomes and start to convert them into something constructive and kind to myself. Like, all right, I've made a mistake. How can I learn from this mistake? All right, I've made a mistake. You know what? I'm going to be kind to myself. I made a mistake. because I've tried. And it's better to try and fail than not to try at all. So well done me. I tried. I didn't get it right, but I'm going to keep trying. So things like that, that kind of reality check of the way that you speak to yourself is something that's very powerful about then predetermining how I'm going to, in the future, react to things that happen to me and how I'm even going to notice those things. The second way I'm starting to set a pattern in my mind is I'm trying to be around people who are achieving the goals and the outcomes that I want to achieve. So simply being around them and seeing the results that they're creating lifts my expectations that now this is possible. So previously, my level of expectation would be here, and I would then only see those results in the world. If I then can be around people who are making more money than me, more sales than me, are growing their business faster than me, or who are ahead of me 5-10 years, and the kind of results and outcomes that they've created, this will raise the expectation in my mind of what is possible so that I begin to even see those opportunities in the world around me. And because I actually start to see that these things are possible, what it means is it makes it those actionable steps possible. I'm able to take action on the difficult things that are required to get me to my goal. So previously, if I had the expectation here, then I couldn't actually exceed that by doing the work because my expectation would be limiting me. But if I'm able to lift my expectation to what's possible, I'm able to do the work that's required to get me to where I need to be. The third step is something that I've learned quite recently, which is about setting intentions instead of setting goals. And what that means is I'm going to set an intention to achieve a certain outcome, and that intention is unbending. Doesn't matter if I fail today, I'm still on track with my intention. So the thing with intentions is our daily action isn't based on whether we feel good about it, whether we feel motivated, or whether we feel like we're succeeding or not succeeding. It's based on an unbending intention towards a goal. And what this means is when I come across the negative reality, so when I failed or when I haven't achieved my goal or when I'm disappointed or when I'm tired or fatigued, I can kind of look at that failure with a bit of a dispassionate, like I'm not emotionally tied into that with a condemnation or sense of failure, because it's just simply that I'm on track with my intention and I'm just marching forward to that no matter how long it takes. I guess in summary of all of these points, what I've learned that's really key is that the way we even see the world, let alone the way we feel about the world and respond to the world, pretty much starts in the mind, because our mind is constantly organizing the material that we receive and the sensations that we receive and kind of constructing them into a pattern. So every day that I can visualize my future, I can visualize my goals, I can visualize myself achieving those goals, and I set my intention unbending, I get myself around people who are already achieving those goals, so I set my expectations high. It means I'm not holding myself back from taking the action necessary that are required to achieve those goals. I can just keep pursuing those goals daily, weekly, monthly, doing the hard work despite the disappointments. And that's what I've been learning lately about my mindset. I'd love to hear what you're learning about your mindset and how you train yourself to achieve your goals. Thanks for listening, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.